Good afternoon.
How's everybody?
Hi.
Good.
Good. Looks like everybody's flowing in here. Oh, yeah. Almost a full house.
Hey, everybody.
Let's see.
Good afternoon. I made it.
Hey, Ed. Madison. Let's see. Reed. Uriah. Okay. I think we did hear from Jonathan that he might be a little late. I don't see Jay on here, but I think we expect him perhaps a little late as well. But you do have quorum. Ed, if you'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order and shove off.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. Good afternoon, everyone. Do we have anybody from the public who wants to make a comment? I don't hear any comments. We'll move on. So on the consent agenda, we have the minutes from the October 12th meeting, and along with the treasurer's report for September and October. Is there any comments or any questions about those reports? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So
I move to accept the minutes.
And a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. So we have our new business. We have the fiscal year 2021 annual audit presentation. And so do we have our auditors
We
ready
do.
to talk about it?
We do. I'll just take a moment to introduce them
Okay.
Since they're new this year. Thank you, Ed. As you know, we rotate auditors about every 5 years as a matter of best practice. And we associate our audit with the city audit. And the city initiated that process last year. So this year we have Robinson Farmer Cox, local firm, that won the responded to the RFP and won the opportunity for a 5-year deal to do the city's audit as well as the EDA's audit. So we have a new face this year, and Eric Angel is with us from Robinson Farmer Cox. He was on site here a couple of days earlier this fall. He and his team have been in City Hall quite a bit working on the city audit, but they spent a couple of days here in our office. So we got to know Eric a little bit. So he was the primary on the audit, along with some help from his firm. So we had, the audit was completed about a week ago. We sent that out to you all. We now typically have a brief presentation from the auditor. So I'll turn it over to Eric and let him kind of walk you through the audit and see if you all have any questions. So Eric, the floor is yours.
All right, good afternoon. How is everybody? It was a pleasure to come out there this year and meet with you folks and get to know your operation. We certainly do authorities all over the state, so it was nice to have one in town for a change. Our firm, of course, does about 57 of 65 counties in the state, and a lot of cities, related authorities, boards, commissions, some towns. So our specialty is in government auditing, and been doing that for about 60 years. I've been with the firm now 5 years, and they've run me all over the state. So like I said, to be actually in town in Charlottesville was quite a pleasure. As far as your financial report for this year, it's not much change from the prior year. The important points, the opinion is, unqualified. And the report on compliance and other matters at the back, we didn't find any material weaknesses. And we didn't find any instances of non-compliance. So it's clean opinion all the way around. As far as the financials go, they're essentially unchanged from the prior year. Of course, a lot of the loan balances have been frozen as far as what you're receiving because of COVID. So there's not a whole lot to report on changes year over year in the reports. So I'm wondering if anyone on the board has any questions they want to address before I address what's coming down the pipe for next year.
Does anybody have questions? Doesn't look like there's any questions.
Okay. At the very back of the report, of course, we list the new accounting standards that are coming. And next year, the one that's going to hit you guys is Lisa's GASB statement number 87. Now you've got somebody there at the city, Glenn Pack. He's got the software that's going to hopefully do all the calculations for you guys, but the leases are going to be picked up. They're going to be assets, at net present value. And then there's a deferred inflow of resources showing with the basically the same thing plus your deposits from those guys and some other things. So next year, the disclosures and the balance sheet and income statement are going to be grossed up for what you have in your leases. So that's what's coming next year. A little bit further out, there's conduit debt, but I think you guys are pretty much in compliance with that one. Might be some changes in disclosures, but that'd be 22. Yeah, that'd be fiscal year 23. So other than that, it's fairly quiet as far as what you can expect to see next year.
So do they have rental income, but do they have rental expense this year?
Let's see.
I didn't see the disclosure.
That would probably fall under the other operating expenses, which are minimal.
Does anybody have any other questions? Do I have a motion to accept the 2021 audited financial statements?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very
guys.
much, Eric. Appreciate you coming on today and representing your firm and talking through the
Pleasure to
audit.
meet with you guys and look forward to seeing you next year. Take care.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
So now we have the annual report to talk about.
Yes, and
Bruce?
just one follow-up item on the audit. We typically have hard copies for everybody, but since we're meeting virtually, we do have those if you want to stop by and get one. And we will have them for you the next time, whenever we do meet in person again, which hopefully will be soon. But for now, you received the PDF copy and that was suitable for today. But we do have hard copies if you wish. Moving on to the next item, which is the annual report, which is really just for your information. The audit is required and is the best practice. The annual report is something we just started putting together years ago, and we just simply add on to it each year. It just kind of keeps a running record of the activities of the authority and kind of a historical document, if you will, if you want to know the history. I think I shared this with new board members typically, but The annual report includes, as the final 30 pages, has the actual audit, which are all the financials. But the first 7 or 8 pages have to do with the history, current year activities, the board members and their terms, and things of that nature. So we typically present this following the audit every year. And so we are keeping that same cadence here. And you all have seen this before. For those of you who have been on the board, it'll look very similar with the exception of the bullet points that relate to the current fiscal year activities, which are about midway through. And then, of course, the terms of the members and the chair and vice chair change annually as well. So just wanted you all to see that. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try and answer those now, but it's more of a historical document that kind of maintains the history of what we've done in recent years.
Chris, I for one appreciate this as a new member because it reminds me again of all the activities that have occurred in the past, so I can halfway catch up, and maybe by my 3rd year on this board, I'll know what the heck is going on. In all seriousness though, Lewis and Clark, could you just update us on what the heck happened there? I don't really quite understand why we have this pending $130,000 that no one seems to know what to do with. So just
Yeah, it's an unusual circumstance, but the Lewis and Clark Exploratory Center is the entity that has a loan through the EDA, and it's been in place for probably close to, I'm guessing, but not quite 10 years, but maybe 10 years. And this was it's a nonprofit agency that is located in Dardanelle Park, and was supported by the city and county by a gift of land. Then they built a facility. They got close to finishing the facility. They ran into some financial challenges, and so they came to the city and county and requested a loan to get them so they could complete the building and open the building for educational purposes for students and tourists and whatnot, to kind of feature the Lewis and Clark experience, which originated in this area many, many years ago. The city and county agreed to a $130,000 loan each, so $260,000 in total. But 130 from the city passed to the EDA. And so the EDA is the mechanism by which the loan was made, which is not terribly uncommon. The county followed that same process. Subsequent to that, the Lewis and Clark board came back and requested, as you might not be surprised, in their early years, they were having some challenges with repayment. Truth be told, they have not made any repayment on the loan. They asked for a series of kind of continuances, which were all granted. Then they came and asked for basically a forbearance of the entire amount and forgiveness. The city council at the time did agree to such a forgiveness, contingent upon the county doing the same. And that's kind of where we are right now. The county EDA and the county board did not come to that agreement at that time. So we kind of got left in limbo. We continue to check in on it. At this point, the county has still not chosen to forgive it. I think they get occasional updates on where they are with that from the Lewis and Clark board. And so it's still an unresolved matter. So it shows up on the audit as a outstanding loan. Honestly, I don't know that we'll get it paid back. For purposes of the authority, the money came from the city, passed through the authority. If we get it back, it'll go back to the city. So we're essentially serving as a pass-through for those funds and kind of caught in the middle on this. So that's the history on it. Hopefully that helps. It doesn't resolve it, but that is how we got to where we are.
All right. Thanks. Seriously, that helps.
Sure.
So do I have a motion to accept the annual report, 2021 annual report?
So
Yeah, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Chris, back in the spring where you had the focus groups and developed that roadmap, recovery roadmap plan, is that still ongoing? And how's that, what's been the impact of that generally?
It is ongoing. It's about an 18-month plan that we started in July. of this year, so it'll run through all of next year as well. A number of the items have been addressed and are being addressed. We've run the Brace grant program. We've run the marketing leverage grant program, and a couple others. I don't have the full list in front of me, but a number of those, and some have been supported via the EDA. Some were supported with funding from the city and the federal government through the CARES and ARP funding. So it's a combination of funding, but we are continuing to work through that process. We'll probably give you an update, early next year on where we stand with that, but it is ongoing.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so I have a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, Jim seconds. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, so now we have to elect the chair and the vice chair for 2022. My term expires in March.
That was Ed's way of
Term is
saying
renewed. Are you coming back, Ed? Or
I don't think so. I'll be finished in March.
if it makes things easier, I'm happy to stay vice chair as a, but would love for somebody else to, be the chair if there's anyone out there.
Still got a lot to learn before I even throw my hat.
They do make it pretty easy for you if for those who are thinking about it. They give you the script and everything, and
They give you the script and everything, huh?
they do make it pretty easy.
Yeah, while you guys are thinking about it, I will just mention, thank you to Ed for serving. And we do try and make it fairly simple to be chair. The primary duties are chairing the actual meeting, the Robert's Rules of Order process, and asking for motions and whatnot, and assigning documents on occasion when we do revenue bonds and refinances and things like that. There are some documents to sign. Your vice chair, Addison, had the pleasure of doing that in Ed's absence earlier this year, and that was probably the most we had all of this year. I think Ed signed a few other documents. So occasionally signing documents and being available for that is key. And then being available for the meetings simply to chair them. And of course, the vice chair is available in your absence to step in and kind of chair a meeting. So those are essentially the key duties. Other than that, it's pretty minimal.
Well, if that's the case, I'll nobody objects. I'll take a stab at it.
All right.
Unless you guys, if I'm too green, let me know.
Motion to approve.
So I don't think we have to vote for that. Right, Chris?
Actually, you should probably have a nomination for the slate and then approve the slate.
I nominate Jariah Guerrero for chair and Addison Barnhart for vice chair. Who wants to second that?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Jariah.
You're welcome.
Yep, thank you.
And Addison.
Yeah,
as
thank you
well.
very much.
So is there any other business and announcements, Chris?
Yeah, just two items. And Ed, thank you for your service as chair again. We appreciate it. Thank you for your service on the board. I realize your term is ending, I believe, the end of March in 2022. Yeah, the only other things I wanted to mention was we do have a new staff member who's on today. Her name is Ayani Wynn Floyd, and maybe she'll turn her camera on so you can see her. She is our new Minority Business Development Coordinator. There she is. She joined the staff about 3 weeks ago and is being oriented as best we can, given our numbers at the moment. And so we're trying to get her introduced to folks in the community, and you are one of those groups. So we had her join today. I don't know that she'll be a regular at our meetings, but she will from time to time be popping in and giving updates as it relates to her activities, which focus on minority business program. And in the past, the EDA has supported the Business Equity Fund, which is a revolving loan held by CIC. And she'll be giving updates on things like that in the future. So wanted you all to see her and have a chance to at least, see her virtually and welcome her to the team. And
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
yeah,
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
great. Several of you are signed up for the training that is happening this week, actually tomorrow and Thursday. This happens typically once a year. You all are in luck. It's virtual again this year, so you can hop on via Zoom from your desk and get nearly the same experience as those who have gone in person in the past. So it is fairly convenient. So appreciate, I think, Reed, Jonathan, Uriah, maybe, or three.
Yeah.
Anybody else I missed?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, thank you all for doing that. You all should have received a link that you can use for the login. And hopefully you find it useful. Some of the material will be more relevant than others. But the two sessions that I pointed out to you, I think it's the Wednesday morning and the Thursday morning, are the most likely the most useful. You're registered for the whole thing. You can sign on at any time during the 2 days and listen in. And I hope that you do. So just wanted to remind you and thank you for doing that. Most of the rest of you, I think, have taken advantage in the past. And if you haven't, feel free to the next go around, be part of that training program. So that's all I had. Wish you all a happy holidays if I don't see you virtually or in person.
Yep, me
Thank
too.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Mhm.
So do I have a motion to adjourn
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Usually there's never. Okay. Motion passes. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays,
Everybody.
everybody.
Happy holidays.
See you
Tim.
See you next
you all.
year.